Hey, welcome in, folks. It's Babbaginator. Let's see if we can get the a little bit better. Turn that down a little bit. So we need to adjust our settings slightly. Maybe more like that. Yeah. Okay. So good to see you all. We're back here. Made it through the night. No hammer. Still no hammer. Right, we have some arrowheads. Pry bar. Lots of books. No hammer. Welcome in, folks. We are doing the tournament, Furry Then Silence 2.0 Interloper Edition. We have to make it 50 days and shoot a lot of things. We are currently tripped up on the fact that we still have not found the hammer, so this is not ideal. So it could be a slow start. We'll see. We're on day 10. If we make it to day 12 or so without the hammer, then we may have to rethink things. Although we're really well set up if we go back to Coastal and Desolation Point, because we have all sorts of things already curing, so crafting the bow should be fast. It's just we need to forge and make more arrowheads and knife. So.
Barely walk with this much gear.
Okay, let's leave that here. Travel a little bit lighter. For those of you who are new to this channel, it's a little bit about me. I am Babbaginator. Pretty much everyone just calls me Baba.
I wonder if I can drop any of this gear.
Streamed Long Dark, Canadian streamer, based in Vancouver, BC at the moment, and gonna wear a lot of different hats. Writer, former computer games programmer, D&D player and DM. And there's our hammer. Hello, folks. We have our hammer. Okay, so with the hammer in hand, we just go straight to... We're already here. Might as well just go... Forlorn Muskeg for the forge, I guess. We have the sleeping bag. Yeah, we can do this. Oh, we should grab the extra coal too. How much coal do we have right now? 15. No, we have enough coal.
I'm not going to be able to carry.
Okay. So hopefully everyone's having a good weekend. I got a chance to sleep in a little bit this morning and then did some going through my closet in my wardrobe. Makes it sound like I have some fancy big wardrobe section. I don't. But basically just thinning out my, you know, what I have, because I'm getting ready for a big move in March. And so there's a lot of stuff that you end up like holding on to because you thought you would wear it or you thought it would look good on you, and then it turns out to be crappy or just not a right fit. Or you just never end up wearing it because it turns out to be more uncomfortable than you expected, or just a whole host of reasons. Maybe it just makes you look weird. And
This pack is getting too heavy to carry.
yeah, like my insistence on every year I try to buy a turtleneck and then I put it on and say like, I don't look good in turtlenecks. Anyways, so I bundled together a bunch of them, went off to Value Village, donated a whole pile of stuff that I'm just not wearing or needing. I then got sucked into the racks looking to see if there was anything that could be useful, even though I'm trying to reduce. I still ended up buying a couple pieces. And one of them was a turtleneck. Why? What did I do? Well, it was better color, you know. Actually, there were both turtlenecks. One was a mock turtleneck, which I tried both of them on, and they do look significantly better than the ones I've bought in the past. The ones that I bought in the past, I think, had some weird sizing issue with the neck. Either they're like really loose. Anyways, they just didn't look right. These ones look better, but they're both merino wool, and since they're used items, I had to hand wash them and then dry them, or basically, you know, it's not a fast process when you're dealing with wool items. So yeah, they're still drying slowly. I saw another one I almost bought, and I decided against it because I figured it would be too much work. But then I ended up doing the same amount of work. So, because one of them was like, "Oh, this is a really nice color and a really nice, like, not a turtleneck, an actual, I don't know. It's a style of long sleeve sweater. Well, like a collared sweater that actually looks good on me, and the color was something that also looks good on me. So it's like, yeah, I could get this, except for the fact that it was clear that the reason why it got donated was because someone had accidentally shrunk the sweater, and it was much, much smaller than you know, it should have been, and the fibers are much denser. So it's like, I know in theory you can, you know, wash a wool sweater with a little bit of conditioner and well, you're not late roller. I got a late start. I started you know, what, about 10 minutes ago, 13 minutes ago. I had a bit of adventure earlier today, so, or earlier in the evening, but got back at around 9, so. All's well. But yeah. Was I stuck in dangerous conditions? No, not really. I was hoping my roommate was something that at first seemed like it was going to be a bigger emergency, and then it turned out to be a lot less, you know, messy, and was able to get resolved. But it did involve driving around in order to take care of the thing that needed to get done, so it was like, oops. So I was on chauffeur duty. It was fine. I was telling my roommate, it's like, it's not like lately we've had much time to do things together, so I'll take this. Like, a little bit of roommate bonding. Okay. But yeah, Roller, the good news here is we did. Oh, well, there's a Cougar here. We're not sticking around for the Cougar, though. Because we got no...
Barely walk with this much gear.
We've learned our lesson. We are not engaging with the Cougar anytime soon. Did my torch go out? Yeah, we're only day 10, and we just finally picked up the hammer. It was in the little oh, look at me. Tried to gesture, and I ended up falling off of the side of the hill. Yeah, it was in the little outdoor stable area by the across from the whatchamacallit. Let's see. Okay, we're good. So yeah, we finally have our hammer, which means we can make a trip to the forge and take care of fitting ourselves arrowheads, but more importantly at this stage, a knife. So we can finish, we can craft some bows and arrows. So what else is new? I turned in my application for this job out at University of Toronto that seems kind of perfect for me. But oh boy, did I spend a lot of time trying to rewrite my cover letter and getting advice from one of my mentors. And yeah, I'm just glad it's done. But yeah, it turns out that I hate writing cover letters. I understand how they work. I know how to advise other people. I have a terrible time at following my own advice. Yeah, so that's in. I did see another posting, but I figured I would probably pass on that one. There was a creative writing poetry position, sessional, so that's basically adjunct or contingent faculty role at University of Toronto. But I think it was to start in January, and I don't want to commit to a January start because that would mean I'd have to move out there like really early, and I'm not prepared for that move. So I think, yeah. If it comes up again and I don't have another position, then, you know, I'll apply, but I'm really hoping the data librarian job pans out. And if not, that there's another similar type of job I can get a hold of there. Yeah, I had plans to be more productive today, and that did not happen. Now I thought maybe I'll work on some poetry. No, didn't do that. Maybe I'll send some work out to different literary journals. No, didn't do that. Maybe I'll work on some role-playing game content that I could do for, like,
I'm not gonna be able to carry
make some
this load much
digital
longer.
tools for people. And like guides or tables or something like that. And those aren't difficult to do for me. I enjoy doing them. But I didn't. Friday was going to be more productive too, but it was not as productive because I spent so much of it like not doing my work, but instead working on my application and then playing catch up in the afternoon, trying to get more work done on the actual job that pays my bills. But also feeling like increasingly I'm not certain what I'm doing with that job because we don't have any new projects to work on. So I'm basically left to come up with things to write documentation for or tutorials for. So I started working on something, this past week, and my boss saw it and said, "Why did you decide to write about this?" I was like, "Well," and I explained my rationale, and she was like, "Okay, I can see that." But I think she wants to be more in the loop if I'm going to propose something else. So I don't know if she's seen all my, all my other like research and notes on different AI approaches or different fields of AI and how they apply. I guess like categories of AI and how they apply to academic research. Anyways, I think it's valuable, but I also am not certain if our team is the team that needs to be doing that type of work. It does feel like a gap where I feel like what's happening right now is the universities put such a strong emphasis on like wanting to make, different aspects of AI more integral to. I mean, it's totally a problem of like, this is the latest buzzword, or this is like what all the non-tech people care about. And it's like you talk to the tech people, they say like, well, everyone acknowledges it's kind of a bubble right now. All this overinvestment, this belief that it can solve everything. The more that you know, the more you realize that that's not really going to be the case. It's like, yeah, it can simplify some things. It can, address some of the tedious tasks that no one really wants to work on. But there's a lot of innovation and a lot of insight that only comes from a human being. And so one of the things, and then the other problem is that everyone kind of, Gen AI has taken over like the conversation, so that when you say artificial intelligence, most people think that's what you mean is generative AI. And generative AI specifically has so many different ethical and moral like issues and legal issues that should be addressed. But there are other types of AI that are less problematic or perhaps more clear-cut as to whether or not you could use them. And so that's what I chose to write about. It's like I wrote about the foundational stuff in terms of machine learning and large language models. And then I wrote about, I think the bear's out here already. What's that? I think it's railroad track.
Hope nobody needs this anymore.
Oh, I've got a vest now. But yeah, so machine learning, and then what else did I write about? Machine learning, natural language processing, computer vision, and what was the last one? There was one more. Oh, generative AI, obviously. It's definitely the bear.
This pack is getting too heavy to carry.
Nope. Go away. Get rid of spammers.
I need to find food.
They're so slow. Yeah, a big part of the problem is the wind. So recently I started watching James Bond movies kind of out of order. I watched the new ones with Daniel Craig, all except for the most recent one. Kind of saving that for a day when I really need like a good action flick to kind of wrap up the day with. But and then I watched the Pierce Brosnan ones in the 90s. And then I tried watching the Timothy, so like completely reverse order, I guess. Tried watching the Timothy Dalton ones, and I watched the first one, Living Daylights, and I remembered how it was a wolf hiding right here. Nope, don't go away, don't go away. Okay. Yeah, the Timothy Dalton ones, and I was like, he's just not, I don't know. It's just, those were weird movies, or at least the first one. Kind of disappointing. Like, I felt like, I read one of the reviews and I felt like, yeah, I kind of agree. It's like, it's a Bond movie with a lackluster, you know, the villain is really underwhelming. The boss fight at the end, underwhelming. There's no really strong Bond girl. So that's kind of underwhelming. You know, and the premise is also generally underwhelming. And so the reviewer kind of noted part of the problem really lies with the fact that this is the trying to make it work in a post-Cold War world, right? You have the that's why Pierce Brosnan's ones work so well, is because they embraced sort of this post, like the challenges were reflective of the world that had changed. You know, the Berlin Wall goes down, communist, you know, Russia, the Soviet Union kind of dismantles, and you know, what had formerly been a very obvious villain, you're now looking at the aftermath of that empire. And so there's all sorts of different characters out there and challenges. And the villains have to change. They can't be just sort of always, you know, some, you know, Soviet threat of some sort, some communist threats. Has to feel more relevant and more threatening. And so like the Pierce Brosnan ones and later become more and more like global. But it's why the Timothy Dalton ones just feel kind of flat. Like Living Daylights, it's like the threat is who? A kind of arms dealer? Yeah? An arms dealer. Okay. Guess maybe we should get some more torches going here.
Come on, little fire. Come on.
That's disappointing too. Come on. But I was also kind of looking through my viewing options this weekend, you know, I have Amazon Prime, and I have Stack TV, and I have Acorn TV and BritBox, which basically gives me most of the British TV offerings. We don't have Disney. That would probably give me a whole bunch of other options that we don't have right now. But yeah, the thing I kind of feel is sort of the sense that we want to do it this way. Could do it this way. Yeah, it's I feel kind of that I've exhausted interesting things to watch. At least out of what's available to me. Like a good action thriller, a good spy thriller. And like I'm at the point where I'm rewatching things, you know. I mean, like the Bond movies, but I mean, granted, I mean, some of them I haven't seen in like a long, long time, and have largely forgotten, you know, the plots. Some of them were always on rotation, so it seemed like every time I turned on the TV when I was in university that they would be on, so felt like I saw a few of them like 3 or 4 times, but others, you know, definitely rare.
eat trees? Because I'm gonna.
Okay. Old Spence Farm Homestead. Here we come. We're crawling our way there. Simple parka. We'll do that. Okay, good.
Come on, little fire.
Okay. Got so much coal. One. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, let's drop some stuff right now. Three. Seven, 33, 57, and okay, we'll do that. Hey, welcome in, Raiders. Welcome in, Bloody Cactus. We are here. We, have arrived safely here. Let's see. Come up here, grab some stuff. No, it's the same tournament. It's let's see. Our last tournament run ended due to Cougar complications right at the end. So we're 10, 11 days into this one. So, to shout out bloody cactus.
Wow.
Station serving the San Cristobal Medical Facility and Sequence Synthetics.
No.
Now we're happy with our boots.
Oh, it's getting dark out here. Time to look for shelter. Oh, I've never been so hungry in my life.
Alright, let's get going here. So how much do we have now? We have 13. Let's see if we have the ingredients we need. We have the cloth, we have metal. Yeah, let's go ahead. This is 5. This is 3. That leaves, so that's 8. 8 would leave us with only 5 pieces. 5 pieces would give us 10 arrowheads. Plus we have 2 already. We have 12 arrows. But we can forge again when we get back to Desolation Point. So I think this is fine. We'll just get our initial 12 going. Or we could actually skip the hatchet until we get... Do we need the hatchet for anything? Not immediately. I mean, we could just do that when we get to Desolation Point. Oh, it's a tough call. The knife for certain we need.
God, I'd eat anything right about now.
Maybe we'll do the hatchet.
I need to find a place to rest. All I can think about is food. Man, if I don't rest soon, I'm gonna faint. Looks like I made it through another night. Good. Wait. Just need to close my eyes.
Okay, let's see. Do we have anything else we can break down? Not really. I think we'll make pancakes or bannock, I guess.
You eat trees?
Hmm. Need to eat something before we do anything else. Yeah. Doo-doo-doo. So at least we're forged. Okay, no worries. Take care, bloody cactus. 1:30 a.m. is early. Yeah, don't envy that. Okay. Just want to double check we have still enough on the fire. 11, more than enough. Middle of the night.
I could eat anything right now.
I think we're all good. I'm just cold. Okay, I guess we read books.
What do you know? Looks like I survived another night. Oh, I'm starving.
Okay, it feels like a good time to get out of here. Okay, let's get out of here. Ooh. So if you came in on the raid and are wondering what we're doing, I'll throw the challenge description up again. This is the tournament we're in. And the initial challenge is just getting to the point where you're forged and have a working bow and arrows. Which sometimes you get very unlucky with. For us, we didn't really find the hammer until like day 10 or 11. So even though we had a hacksaw right off the bat and were able to get get guts and saplings down early, we had no means to actually craft a bow or arrows or arrowheads until just recently. Okay, because we got a late start, we'll probably wrap up early, which I think is going to translate into maybe another half an hour.
Man, I could eat anything. Anyways, we're surviving. We're doing well.
We're almost ready to craft our bow. We just have to get back to our materials.
I'm starving.
I think we should be able to do something when we get back to the camp office and the dam. I think are the two places we have things stashed in Mystery Lake. Go away. Go away. Yep. Bye, Mr. Wolfie.
I can't feel my hands.
Okay. Keep an eye out for the bear. We need to stop and warm up. It's still in the middle of the day.
Man, all I can think about is food. Perfect.
Yeah, it feels like it's going to turn into a storm.
Barely walk with this much gear.
Okay, I'm trying to get out of here before the things get too ugly.
I'm not going to be able to carry this load for much longer.
I think you grossly underestimate your abilities, Astrid. I think you'll be fine. So I think our goal for wrapping up will be to get to camp office. Okay. Keep pushing. Keep pushing. Yeah, yeah.
pack is getting too heavy to carry.
Okay, almost home. Then we get a rest. And I get a rest. Oof. I made it. Okay, so we have to stay overnight for this one secure.
Man, I could eat anything.
Ooh, okay. So we're gonna wrap up here soon. When we wrap up, we'll
Come on, little fire. Come on.
do a little poetry, and then we'll close off and go raid someone else. Actually, I think we do need water. Oops. Okay, let's see what we got. 12. Day 12, but we're at least forged.
I'm not going to be able to carry this load for much longer.
Okay. Zero 3. And then 0 5, 0 5. Okay. Let's see what we got here. Anything else we can harvest? Right? No.
I need to eat soon.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, all I can think about is food.
Day 13. Okay, I think we're gonna wrap up here.
Not sure I can carry much more.
13. Okay, so we're good here, we're good there. Okay, so that's our day 13. We're gonna go read some poetry and then wrap up, find someone to raid. Poem by someone else. Okay, I think we'll read something. I think we read something from this book already, but I'm going to read another one. Okay, this is from Esther Lynn's Cold Beef Place, published by Alice James Books, 2025, I think. Yeah. Esther Lynn. This is a poem entitled The Real Thing for Janine Joseph, who's another friend of mine. In a car traveling from New York to Virginia, a dealer, a stranger, my brother, and myself. I sat between the stranger and my brother because everyone smoked out of the windows and because I was a girl. We drove the I-95. Your English is so good. How can you be illegal? The dealers laughed. I was 17. My brother refused to speak. The dealers drove us to a lawyer's dining room. The lawyer notarized our proof of address. 4 Lachine Lane, Alexandria. In French, Lachine means China. In China, 4 is an inauspicious number. In Alexandria, the poems of Sappho burned. The dealers drove to the DMV. Don't speak English. We're your translators, the dealer warned me. If you speak English, you'll mess this up. I passed the written exam. My brother passed the written exam. The stranger failed. He would have to make this journey again in 6 months' time. He wanted a refund. I wanted to sit by a window for the ride back. My brother refused to speak. The learner's permit was a dot matrix printout. The lawyer would forward the dealers the real thing. The dealers would forward my father the real thing. It's not even the real thing, the stranger shouted. Okay. The Real Thing by Esther Lynn. And let's see. Home chooser. Return. Okay, this one's from Babbage's Dream. My second book of poetry, and let's see if we can locate this. I think it's towards the end here. Yeah, there it is. I think we did this one not too long ago. Let's do a different one. Vigil. I did that one. The Art of Memory. Ooh, you know what? It's been a long time since we did that one. Oh, we'll do that one. That one's out of The Lost Country of Sight, my first book. And we haven't done that one in a long time. So, The Art of Memory. Section was that in? There it is. The Art of Memory, from The Lost Country of Sight, published by Inhinga Press in 2008, winner of the Philip Levine Prize, 2007. The Art of Memory for Simonides of Chios, who is considered the father of mnemonic systems and memory studies. All memory is a matter of place, the ordered setting of the world and how we walk through it. Our eyes trained to perceive meaning or congruence with lines from old plays, speeches we did not deliver, the names of beetles, the parts of a fish laid open by a blade. Even the guests crushed beneath the tiles of a fallen hall in ancient Greece can be recalled, table by table, their loud voices dimmed to a silence. Do not rely on columns or statues. The constellations will do. each darkened house rimmed with light, and the yawning curve of the earth and sea choose natural signs, the dead for the dead, a man holding a quill, a ram with blood-tipped horns, paper folded in squares glowing in fire, even my father, walking the rooms of the old house before it is sold, fixing in his mind the colors of the walls, the hallways and doors, the last traces of home before we break free. So The Art of Memory this poem has a number of different sources and inspirations. First is a book called The Art of Memory by Francis A. Yates, which is a really fascinating history of mnemonic systems, of like memorization schemes and strategies, dating all the way back to the ancient Greeks, and specifically Simonides. And the story is that Simonides was a poet invited to perform at a grand wedding, a big wedding event. And he received, just before he was supposed to perform, there was a messenger at the gates calling for him. So he was summoned out of the banquet hall and went outside to receive the message from the courier. And while he was outside, the banquet hall collapsed, killing everyone on the inside. The families of the wedding guests were all, of course, aggrieved. They were in shock. They were desperate. And one of the recurring complaints that they had was, we'll never know whose body is whose. And how will we be able to tell? And Simonides said, oh, don't worry. I can tell you who was sitting where. I memorized everyone by the places where they sat. So table by table, he had formed a map in his mind of where everyone was, even before the performance. And so because of that, his ability to do that and the strategy he employed, he's considered the father of mnemonic systems. So anyways, Francis A. Yates writes about that and writes about everything all the way up until I think late 19th century, early 20th century. And some of her other ideas have to do with looking at how at different periods of time, different strategies were employed. They all were tied to this notion of walking through, whether literally walking through a space or imaginatively walking through a space, but having these structures and architecture and features. So one of the common ones was pretend that you're walking down a path that you know very well, in which there's statuary, and then just associate with the statues particular parts of your speech, so that you can just, as you're giving the speech, you just imagine yourself walking along and you see that statue and you remember that's the point you're going to make about that. And this statue is supposed to associate with this idea and this one. And so you would just kind of be able to retrace literally and figuratively retrace your steps through that speech. And then other people speculated or suggested, well, we don't have to use architectural spaces. We could use constellations, or we could use, very familiar, hierarchies or patterns or structures that come out of literature. And so Dante's Inferno, and his description of the different circles of hell, actually was one of the things that some people ended up using as a memory system. So yeah, and then the last image is really kind of a reference back to, my father, one summer vacation, we were driving from Saskatchewan back to BC, and we passed through his hometown in Penticton, and on a whim, he decided that we should drive by the house that he grew up in. And we drove by it, and he said, it looks so different now. I can barely remember what it was on the inside. And so I kind of imagine my father, before leaving you know, trying to fix in his mind, doing that path, walking through room by room, trying to imagine and fix it in place. But it's also the very thing that I do when I move into a place and when I leave a place, is I tend to walk through it and then reimagine it again. I don't think I do it consciously. You know, it's only in hindsight I think about it and think, yeah, I've kind of tried to remember the place, to construct it in my memory. Yeah. Anyways, some behind the scenes stuff with that one. Let us get ready to raid. Who shall we go raid tonight? Okay, so let's look at our options. So, Tie Forged, Billy Boy. I don't know any of these people. Pure Forged. Okay, we'll pop in on Pure Forged. Okay, so let's join Tier Forge, who is doing Interloper, no DLC, 50 Days to Die. I think we visited Tier Forge before, so let's just do that. Thank you all for hanging out with me, and we'll be back again most likely Tuesday night, possibly Monday night, but Tuesday night, I think. So, see you all there.